Over the years, have you had either favorite horses or hounds that you want to talk about?
My favorite horse is the one that's in the picture downstairs. And
Why was that a favorite?
well, he was a stallion till he was 4, and then I was 10 years old, and when he became a gelding, and I started hunting him then, and he wasn't the biggest horse or the fastest horse or the prettiest horse, but he would do anything I asked him to do. His name was a Rickery, and well, when I first started riding him, it was just before I started being a whipper-in, and I wasn't big enough and didn't know how to ride that well. He'd stop at a jump once in a while, and I'd fall off. Well, he was so good.
Right over the top?
No, I'd land on top of the jump most of the time, hang on to the reins, and he'd stand there, and I'd get back on, and we'd jump it. and I could get on him, and I wasn't very tall, and he went on to be. In fact, you could ride him in what we call a snaffle bit, which is very few hunters you can ride that way. And in the summertime, when we turned the hunters out in the summertime, I could catch him, and I'd take my handkerchief and tie it around his lower jaw like you see the Indian pictures, and take my belt off, get on him bareback, and figure 8 him over jumps, and get off of him, turn him loose. And he was everything I asked him to do, he'd do it. And he got to be such a good horse. There's 2 stories about him that I want to tell. When my wife and I were dating, and we were down here deer hunting. It was during deer season, and we were just on the other side of Rocky Hill, right there. And the deer had gone around, and I galloped ahead on my horse, and she was coming around and he went around a patch of brush, and she wasn't ready, and she fell off. And that horse went to the edge of the hill and nickered to me and went back and stood beside her. And he could have gone home, he could have done whatever he wanted to do.
Sure. Yeah.
And then a couple of years later, my dad's nephew, George Heyer, was living with my mother and dad and riding this good horse. And he fell off of him, and there was 7 or 8 of us out that day. We were galloping with the hounds. That horse came to us, nickered, and went back and stood by that little boy.
Yeah, smart horse.
Oh, he was a wonderful horse, yeah. And then the horse I was telling you about that came out of the twin mare is the best horse that Mr. Phipps and Dad ever raced.
Right.
The best horse.
Yeah.
And now I have a mare that I raised. She goes back. Fact of the matter is, her great-great-great-grandmother was over here, and the grandmother and great-grandmother and great-grandmother and so forth. And she then I bred one of those mares to actually a Percheron horse to get some crossbreds, because we had some crossbreds here that were very, and she's in the top 5 of the horses I've had. She's now 19, and her picture.
How long do these horses typically live?
Well, they live now.
One that was 30.
Yeah, they don't. We don't much past 18, 19 years old. Now, before they wore out sooner, but we have better nutrition today and better medicine and so forth. So we wouldn't have been riding this mare when we were hunting here. She wouldn't be going.
Wouldn't be ready to keep up?
No. Yeah. No. And she's getting a little old, but then we had 2 really good horses called Prince and Princess that were sired by this little horse of mine that I liked so well. And he wasn't very big, and those horses were big horses and really good horses.
Seabiscuit wasn't very big either.
That's true. Yeah.
Little horse that
Yeah.
outperformed.
That's right. That's right.
That's true.
But the good thing about it, Mark, is having been able to ride that many horses in my lifetime, when you get a good one, you know you've got a good one. You get a bad one, you know you got a bad one too. At what level they are, yeah.